Also, by the way,
Oh, he's
back then
fighting
there was
from the very
no Mark
beginning.
IIs of any ship except for the Mako. So no frigates, no haulers, no corvettes, no vendors, no Mark IIs of any fighters.
That's when I
Anyways,
first played the game.
so basically, I saw a couple dudes talking in chat. Okay, they were like talking about good loot, and they were like, "Oh, it's like 30 jumps, dude." It was like more like 40 jumps actually, but they were like talking about how they're gonna go this long trip and get lots of good loot. So then I was like, "Yo, can I come along? I want to get some good loot." And then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Syndicate." And then I went on the map, okay, and looked at Syndicate. I've been playing the game for like 30 minutes. Okay, I got a fucking track to be in my shadows. Okay, so then I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go to Syndicate. We'll get good loot. So me and these 4 other niggas, we all fucking get in our shadows. Well, some of them have otters or Marlins, and we all start flying up to Syndicate. Okay, so trip's about 30 minutes. Okay, so what happens is in the first few systems, one guy leaves. Okay, then we go a few more systems and we stop and we're waiting for someone. Okay, that's all I remember, and it's an unsecure. And so basically, this guy is mining with a Falcon. That's not one of us. That's not one of us. And so in the planet. And so we're just waiting there for one of our people to catch up to us. One guy already left. And so then one of the people was just saying your mom in chat, like your mom. And then wait a few seconds, then your mom. So then the Falcon guy
That's really
just kind of turned
homophobic.
around. The Falcon guy just kind of turned around and just blew him up. And I was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? You just killed my friend. And then I was like trying to be nice to the Falcon guy because this guy's got a Falcon and I really want to lose my track to be on my shadows, bro. It's so good. So then I was like kind of sweet talking. I was like, oh wow, you're pretty good, dude. You just killed that guy. And then me and these 5 other guys are in a VC still. And then he's like, bro, what the fuck? I just died. And then he just leaves the VC. And so then it's me and 3 guys, two guys including me. So then we warp all the way up. And I remember we're like 5 systems away from Syndicate. And then one of the other guys died in his otter. And then he just rage quit for no reason. Like we didn't even know he died till the next morning. He just left the call when he died. Didn't even say anything. He just left the call. Okay, so then me and this one last guy make it there. And then we're looking around for loot. And then he's like, it's not really any good loot here. I'm like, what the fuck? I just spent 30, 40 minutes of my time flying up here. So then I go to sleep, okay? The next day, I wake up and I'm like, fuck this, bro. I don't want to be up here. This place is retarded. So then I left and I was going all the way down, okay? And I was on like the last 2 systems, or relatively close, okay? Probably like 5 systems from Citadel. And so this is the first time I ever died. So basically, there was no quick warp back then, and the only way to warp without using the map was to look around and manually align. So I didn't do that because I'm a noob. I've been playing for like 50 minutes or an hour maybe. So on the map, it shows like a system with like a long trail, and the trail goes over another system. So I'm on the map, but I'm trying to warp to the other system, but the trail actually goes over it and past it. So I died. So that's how I died. I really miss my tractor beam shadows, to be honest. Anyways, so the next day, I don't remember if I played anymore for that day, but the next day I mined in my shadows enough for 2 Auroras, and I bought 2 Auroras. I was the cheapest ship, 1,600. Well, cheapest combat ship, 1,600. And I gave one to my brother, and I forced him to play. He didn't want to, but I was like, "Yo, you gotta play this cool game. It's cool." And then we flew to Gatinsia and then started pirating. Okay, and let me tell you, back then there was like 50 players. Okay, nobody really knew about Gatinsia. Like I didn't hear about it before. I was just like, "Oh, you can only kill players in Unsecure, so I might as well go here." And so I went to Unsecure with my Aurora. Okay, and we were flying around, and we were next to the station, and then these 3 guys warp in, and I see them appear on the playlist, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then they warp in, and then they're in Paragon. So I went in the station with my brother, and we're just kind of sitting in we're hovering above the station. And nobody really used guns to shoot ships back then. It was kind of an unknown thing. And so I'm sitting in the station in my ship, and I'm negotiating with these 3 guys in Paragons, and I'm like, you guys are going to kill me and stuff. They're like, hey, you should join our faction. And then I was like, I don't know, man. And I recently got Discord a couple months before that, I think. So then I was like, okay, sure. And then I made my brother Discord, and I got myself Discord, and we joined, and it was the Star Jumper Corps, okay? So basically, we joined the faction, okay? And I don't really remember what I did for the rest of the day. I don't think I played much. Okay, so the next day, this is like my 4th day, then, funnily enough, we had an announcement to go back to Syndicate. So I was actually pretty fucking pissed because we had to go all the way back. And so part of the reason I joined SJC is because they promised you a Paragon if you're a good member, or a Falcon, because back then everybody had dupe credits. Everyone who played before. Suction had a ton of dupe credits. So he was just giving people Falcons. So I actually got. Oh yeah, duping. Everybody duped. Everybody duped. So basically, well, credits. You couldn't dupe anything else other than credits. Anyway, so I got a Falcon, okay, and I warped up to Syndicate with my brother. And the rumor was that there was a high concentration of the Black Battalion forces along with Allied Noctem forces. And those, they were in Syndicate, okay? And so we were up there, and there was 14
that's what ANF
SJC.
stands for.
14 SJC, and 14 SJC. Oh no, 7 SJC and 14 TBB ANF. So basically, back then it was known as the Imperium. That's what the alliance was called. So 7v14. So we're in the fucking Syndica, and we're doing basically a cat and mouse game, kind of like warping around, taunting each other, pretending to warp, but we're not actually warping. And then we all warped to Mazay, and there's a station, and we all got our disruptors, and we deployed a whole bunch of disruptors, and our plan was to fight, and as soon as we got low, we'd go in the station. And keep in mind, there was no other fights before this. And let me tell you, there was no player tags, no player colors. Everybody's name was the same color, and you could never tell who was with you. Never. You couldn't tell. You literally couldn't tell. There was no factions, no tags, no nothing. You just had to guess, okay? So basically, or you had to know the person. So we're all in our VC, okay? And we're waiting for them to warp in. And the leaders were like, nah, you guys are going to die. You shouldn't do this. You're not going to fight. We're literally going to demote you if you die. And then we were going to like, nah, we're going to do it anyway. So then a random guy warps in, okay? And it's Obama didn't die for this. Good friend, by the way. I caught up with them later, and we became good friends, and we played BRM5 together. But that's another story. Anyways, so basically, Obama didn't die, was in a Stratos. He was a Stratos scout. He was scouting for a fucking minefield because nobody played the game. Nobody knew that minefields were useless, okay? We thought they were maybe a threat. So basically, he warps in, and I forever call him Stratos Scout for that. But shortly after he warps in, the forces of the enemy warp in 14 to 16 of them. And so they warp in kind of staggered, different times. And we're all in Falcons or Paragons, all of us, just Falcons or Paragons. We got our marine armor, and we got our just standard rifles and standard guns. And so they are actually in like all kinds of ships. They're in Falcons, Claymores, all that stuff. Random ships, okay? Falcons, Claymores with Luminars, Auroras, anything you could think of. And basically, we kind of fucking slaughtered them, to be honest. We lost 2 people, and we killed, I think, like 10, and then 4 or 6 of them got away. But yeah, basically, that was the Battle of Mazay, okay? So after that, a few days went by of me playing the game a little bit and talking in Discord, and I got a badge and stuff. And we also all promote the armor. Yeah, I got the armor back because one of the members gave it back to me. Anyways, so yeah, the legendary armor. So basically, over the next 2 days, there were debates over if SGC would be active or not. And Suction Noob was always like, I don't think we should be active because we'll burn our members out. And then I was like, no, this is retarded. I don't think this is right. And not going to lie, I was kind of a sped back then when I played, okay? Anyway, so basically, I was pretty incompetent. So we all promoted, and over the next few days, there was debates and whatever. So then I left, and I made my stupid bounty hunting clan, okay? And I got like 20 members in one day. I spent like 6 hours in Citadel recruiting and got 20 members. And so basically, we decided to call it the Coraton Group Incorporated, and we basically became a mercenary company. And we did all sorts of things like escorting ores, and that was when bounty hunting was first ever mentioned in the game. And we would agree that we bounty hunt for people. And so basically, and so basically, that happened, and then the first battle of Gatinsir happened, and so we were called to go to Gatinsir, right? We were paid from someone from, it was TBB versus SJC, and we were paid by SJC and TBB, someone from both sides. One was a duper. I don't really remember the other guy, but basically, I told my people to warp in and kill anyone they wanted, and I gave them all their ships back because we were getting paid tons of credits because it's duped. Doesn't fucking matter. So we warp in. We have the big fight. TBB wins the first battle of Gatinsir. No idea why there's not a monument. Cat's kind of stupid sometimes, but basically, yeah, I claimed it as a win because we didn't fucking lose anything. So basically, after that. The game became pretty dead. Okay, they had like 50, 40 players. Then I had like 10, 20 for a stable amount of time. And so there was a lot of Discord politics. I'm saying, like every day there's some new drama, something like that. There wasn't actually that many factions. A lot of the factions are dead now. but there was a decent amount. Pegasus wasn't even alive then. So the first problem that happened with my faction. So one thing that I really struggled with back then, that I know I'm a lot better at now, was actually choosing people to become high ranks. I chose really incompetent people, and I think part of that is because I was a dumb 12-year-old. But so I chose this one guy to be the co-leader, and I did like a fucking survey for the people to be co-leader. Literally the dumbest thing you can ever do. And the second dumbest thing is actually having a co-leader in a fucking video game, because it's retarded. You don't need a fucking co. That's like the same as having a democracy. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, anyways. So as I was saying, this guy, his name was like Slenderman, and then a couple numbers, and he was like, I don't know, 16 or 17, and he never used his mic. He didn't have a mic. But he like set up the Discord robot for me and stuff, so I thought he was kind of cool. Anyway, so I made him the co-leader, and then basically school was in session around this time. I had to go to school every day, but basically at lunch I was always on my phone, just on Discord, talking about the clan and stuff. And we had like 50 members by then, probably 50 or 60. We were probably one of the biggest factions back then. We were. I think we were the second biggest, the first biggest. I think SGC was bigger actually. So then. Basically, what happened is a couple of my members, my high rank and my leader my co-leader were like having drama and something. So then I demoted the leader, and then I banned him, and then he made a whole bunch of like empty threats, like I'm gonna get you next time in the future. Moo ha 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 ha. And I was like, okay. And then I chose another guy as the co-leader. The person I chose as co-leader was PokeFlame18. Okay, and then the funny thing, you're gonna laugh. But the person I made my resource manager was Royal Man 10. And so basically,
big cringe.
Wait, who's Royal Man 10? Why is that cringe?
Because he's a retard. He's a dumb SJC. He's fucking retarded. He's actually autistic. Like, he's clinically autistic. He said that he's autistic. Anyways, so the Discord politics keep going on. And then I make this alliance called the Equilibrium Commonwealth. Basically, the second alliance, if you're not going to include Coolidge's alliance. Then it would be the first. So I invited all the other factions to it, all the other small factions, like Galactic Imperium. I think it was People's Galactic State. Basically ANF also ANF died after the Battle of Mazay, and their leader then created our Sturko Krypton, which was going to join my alliance, and same with a bunch of other factions. So then that happened, and then Pegasus was formed, and I was pretty good friends with Ritual. Not gonna lie, we hanged out a decent amount in the Discord. Okay, I wasn't hated back then. So then, basically, Ritual was like pressuring me to join his alliance that he made with Mop and him, and I was like, okay, sure. So then I joined his alliance, and one of my HRs left and made his own little shitty faction. It was dumb AFS faction. He basically formed AFS. He's incompetent. He's also clinically autistic. Like, I'm not even trolling. These guys literally told me that they have autism.
Listen, guys, if you disagree with Jakor, you're clinically autistic, all right?
No, but he literally told me that he has autism. Anyway, as I was saying, so he made his own dumb little faction, and so I was in UF for a time, and then basically I was I think this is when I became a little bit more mature and more competent. So I was starting to realize that having a co-leader was kind of retarded, and I wanted to become more autocratic. Okay, not gonna lie, I kind of role played a decent amount back then. So basically, I wanted to reform my faction to be more of a warmonger. So I disbanded the alliance and joined UF as well. And so I was trying to push a vote in the United Federation to fucking kick out my dumb old HR's faction because they're small and useless. And I also wanted to allow me to declare war. I wasn't allowed to declare war on anyone. But let me know. Let me tell you. So this was probably like 6 months or 5 months before the wipe. And back then, the month was supposed to be one wipe. The wipe was supposed to be 1 month away. So I thought that what would be a good strategy would be declaring war on all the small factions. So all the new players at the wipe join the bigger factions. Because, why would you join a small faction that's KOS by everyone when you could join a big faction and kill everyone, So nobody kind of agreed with me on that. So then I started, there's this other shady alliance. And then there was this new faction called Victim. Okay, nobody really knew Victim. Nobody really knew them. They didn't really show up a lot in like the game. And there was no battles then. There was nothing going on. And so another relevant part of the story is around this time, there was a faction called the People's Galactic State, some retard communist faction. And me and my buddy that used to own ANF, who made our Circle Krypton, they had a war. They didn't really have any battles, but they had a war, and I backed them up. Anyways, so basically, I started getting interested in this shady alliance called the Chaos Consortium, and it had Percy's faction. And if you don't know, Percy is one of the leaders of SU. Now he is, and it
What's
also
SU?
had Skiller, so basically elite pirate faction, but they're not that elite. I think that our members are kind of.
help?
Anyways, so basically, I was interested in joining them. So I joined their alliance behind the Ritual's back, and I was planning to betray them. And I was spying on Ritual for this new shady alliance. And you know, we met a couple times, and Bellifer seemed really chill, and we were hanging out, and it was pretty awesome. And so then, basically, right before I was going on vacation to see my grandparents for the winter. This was last winter, and so basically a year ago now. And I was going on a plane to see my parents for Christmas, or my grandparents for Christmas. And a couple days before, I told one of my HRs about the alliance, and my co-leader, and I invited them to the faction, Poke Flame 18, to the alliance. And then Ritual joined the server right before I got on the plane. And I don't know why I was so retarded back then, but I thought that nothing was up. I thought that Ritual just somehow got an invite, somehow, and joined, when Poke Flame 18 was the only person's loyalty that I questioned. And, you know, I kind of saw it before it happened, but I kind of knew Royal Man and Poke Flame weren't agreeing on my decisions because they didn't really agree with warmongering. So then I'm on the plane, okay, and I'm just doing my thing, you know, on the plane. And when I land, I come to realize that my faction is in the middle of a civil war. Okay, I land, and there's announcements in my faction. I got like 50 pings, okay?
He
From
just
different
starts
parts of Discord.
panicking in the airport, and screaming, "No, my faction!"
And so basically,
Hey, can I get some help and get
basically,
What's up?
just leave.
fucking
I'll pass.
saloon?
Just leave. Just leave.
I'm interrupting story time. Yeah.
Anyways, so
Seriously, you should like write like a Google Doc or something.
after this part, I'm gonna get a drink, and then
I'm
I'll
honestly
come back.
shocked as to how he's still going.
Anyways, so then, basically, Royal Man and Poke Flame 18 announced in my faction that they leaked all my plans to declare war on all the small factions, and leaked that I said the N-word a couple times. And Ambit,
And now you
funny,
say
funny
every
thing,
other, and now
funny
every
thing,
other word when you're not telling your stories.
funny thing, Ambit was actually my faction then. I stole him from SJC. Anyways,
Maybe it was
so
an SJC.
yeah, he was in SJC, and okay, so Ritual, me and Velifer were all in SJC, and also Ambit. So then we all split up, and then Ambit joined my faction, and so basically, Royal Man and Poke Flame had this other faction that they made. It was called the fucking Paragon Nation. Okay, this was the rebellion server. So I got I banned like half the server. I basically did a late Stalin, banned half my members, half the server, and I decided to rebrand the faction a few days later to Mandatum Imperium. Okay, it was an edgy faction. The color scheme was red and gray, and so I officially joined the Chaos Consortium Alliance. And then it was kind of dead for a bit. Like the game was dead. You know, it had no players, 1 player, 2 players, no players. And so basically then what's going on is a lot of Discord politics again. But then me and Ritual forgave me, and we played a lot of Northwind together. So me and him became chill again. So then what happened is basically I got banned. And then my faction was kind of already dead. Well, when I first formed the Mandatum Imperium, we started with like 20 members because I remember KGI, Corton Group Inc. Oh, side note, before the rebellion happened, we reformed into like a faction, not a corporation. We became Corton Confederation. And so we were known as KC. And we had about 90 members when I split it up. And it had like 20 members, like the new faction had 20 members. And I've got that faction to 90 members in like, I think I want to say like 20 days. And I was playing the game a lot, you know? And so it was really easy to recruit back then because everyone that played the game, mostly everyone had Discord. Because a thing that I noticed is people buy games if they have Discord a lot, you know? People are actually looking for good games when they have Discord. And they're not retarded. Anyways, so we got a lot of members. We had 90 members. And we were doing events, you know? We rallied like 10, 15 people to an event, you know? We had secure events for like MRs and HRs, and those went really well. And then the faction started dying out. You know, people didn't really want to play a game, and we actually played Galaxy for our game nights a lot. You know, and so then I got banned, and then my faction basically fully died. A lot of people left. Only like the really loyal people stayed, and then we kind of hung out a little bit. Didn't do much, and then I just made an announcement for people to merge into Victor. And so then a few months of not playing really, and then the Corvette event happened, and I still wasn't banned in the Discord by then. So the Corvette event happened, and I played for that basically. I think I was just there in like an otter, and then the Frigate event happened, and then I remember in the Frigate event I was in a fucking Fargo selling one red narco for 69,420, flying around. And so basically that happened, and then by the way, when the Corvette event happened, I thought Keth said before it happened, like a few hours before, he said there would be a special announcement, and the wipe was supposed to be like around that time. So I was like, oh, it's definitely the wipe. So I took everything I owned. I used all my credits on scanner probes and ships. I repackaged all of my ships and went into a mammoth and spammed I'm a pinata in Gatinsier. And I lost 400 hours worth of storage. And then guess what? The announcement was that it wasn't the wipe. You know how mad I was? I lost 400 hours of storage, and it wasn't actually the wipe. Anyway.
Okay. Is there a version of like the manliest man except the stupidest, most stupid, ballsy man?
So basically, that happened, and then that's the reason I was only in a Fargo during the Frigate event, and so the game was dead for a while, and then I was talking with CooleyDis because I remember me and CooleyDis. I used to shit talk CooleyDis before, because I think we had like a fight. I don't know, something. But I caught up with CooleyDis. You know, TV was really dead back then, and then I caught up with him and I told him what's been going on. I told him all the politics, and then a while later, TVV joined UF and then became active again, and then Cooley was like, "Yo, you should join," and I was like, "Okay, well, sure." And then by then, I also was running 2 other factions under alts, which had 30 members each, and one of them could rally like 10, 15. One of them could rally like 5 and 10. So I could rally 30 people on alts, but I didn't want to rally on my main or make a faction on my main because I was banned and I had a tainted rep. So my alt factions were doing good, and nobody believed they were my alts. So basically, then those factions I disbanded, by the way, on my alts, and my alts haven't been seen since. But so I joined TBB, and you know I got lieutenant and I rushed it like really fast. I was the fastest person to rush it basically, and then I heard that UF split up. So then UF split up, as you guys know, and then I talked with Ritual for a bit when that happened, and me and Ritual were still on pretty good terms. And me and Ritual were talking, and you know he was saying that how Cooley and I got unbanned. Ritual actually got me unbanned because I was chill, and I joined TBB the battle of I think it was Narelle against MBI, or not Narelle. It was what was it? Fucking Taste Day. And then I completely joined. I messaged the developer and I was like, I'm actually completely disbanding the faction. I'm joining TBB. And then so I joined TBB, and then basically no.
And that's the story of how Jakor realized he was a black person.
So, what historical significance does this have faction-wise?
I don't know.
That Jakor was been able to successfully start
I swear to God, no one ask him another question. He's gonna start talking for another 30 minutes, please.
So basically,
I'm enjoying
This
this.
is like a
Okay,
podcast.
so hold on. I got a question. When are you gonna email me the study guide?